Hello and welcome to Eclectic Classes, a channel for electrical instrumentation and automation topics. In this series of video, we will be learning about different industrial communication protocols. In any industry, there are so many type of equipments installed like controllers, transmitters, actuators, etc. To enable the automation of the operation, we need to make all the concerned devices to communicate with the required equipment. For example, communication across different PLC or communication between a PLC and field devices is essential for the automation of the operation. In this series of video, we will learn how do all of them communicate and what are the different standards or protocols for their communication. This is the first video in which we will be covering the introduction to the subject matter, and in later videos we will be going through the different protocols used in industries. So basically, when we are talking about communication, we are talking about data. We are talking about data communication, which involves the transfer of information from one point to another. With the advancement in the field of technology, when we talk of data, almost every time we are talking about digital data. In the context of digital data, data refers to information that is represented by a sequence of zeros and ones. The same sort of data as handled by computers. Modern instrumentation is almost wholly concerned with the transfer of digital data only. Any communication system requires a transmitter to send information, a receiver to accept it, and a link between the two. Here the link could be any of copper wire, optical fiber, or radio waves or microwaves. Protocol. The structure in which devices communicate is known as a protocol. For communication of data, there must be mutual agreement on how data is to be encoded. That is, the receiver must be able to understand what the transmitter is sending, and that is achieved through the protocol. Initially, different vendors developed protocols which were used by their own products only. That is, they developed proprietary protocols. In order to develop more integrated instrumentation and control systems, standardization of these communication protocols was essential. A standard may evolve either from the wide use of a manufacturer protocol, that is de facto standard, when some protocol is used by almost all the equipments, then it automatically becomes a standard. So we call them de facto standard, or may be specifically developed by bodies that represent specific industries. The industrial communication market is characterized by a lack of standardization. There are, however, a few dominant standards. Modbus has been a de facto standard for the almost 15 years. Later, many other standards were developed for better communication between the field instrument and PLC, like Profibus, ASI, DeviceNet, Foundation Fieldbus, Ethernet, Profinet, etc. In the process of standardization for a better integrated instrumentation and control system, OSI model was developed. Open System Interconnection model was developed. It was developed by the International Organization for Standardization. The OSI model reduces all the design and communication problem into a number of layers. It has rapidly earned industry support, and protocols are being designed in the frame of OSI model. In OSI model, messages or data are generally sent in packets, which are simply a sequence of bytes. It will be the protocol used which will define the length and structure of the data packet. Now let us go through how the OSI model works. In OSI model, each packet requires a source address and a destination address so that the system knows where to send the data packet, and the receiver also knows where from the data packet is coming. A packet starts at the top of the protocol stack, the application layer, and passes down through the other software layers until it reaches the physical layer. When traveling down the stack, the packet acquires additional header information at each layer. This tells the corresponding layers at the next stack what to do with the packet. After reaching the physical layer, it is sent over the link. At the receiving end, the packet travels up the stack with each piece of header information being stripped off on the way. So, in the transmitter section, the headers are being added with each passing layer, and in the receiver section, the header sections are being stripped off, and finally only data is achieved. The application layer at the receiver only receives the data sent by the application layer at the transmitter. In this OSI model, we have shown arrows between the layers of transmitter and receiver. The arrows between the layers of transmitter and receiver indicate that each layer reads the packet as coming from or going to the corresponding layer at the opposite end. This is known as peer-to-peer communication, although the actual packet is transported via physical link. The middle stack is here representing a router, and it has only the 3 lower layers, which is all that is required for the correct transmission of a packet between two devices in this particular case. The OSI model is useful in providing universal framework for all communication systems. However, it does not define the actual protocol to be used at each layer. It will be the protocol used which will define the frame format in which the data or information will flow. With this, we conclude this introductory session on the industrial communication protocol. In our next session, we will learn about RS-232 communication. Stay tuned and don't forget to like, subscribe, share and comment your views. Your feedback is highly essential for improving my content. So kindly provide the same. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll be back soon with my next session. Thank you.